Hi, and welcome to the Hit Save on That podcast. I'm Wendy Rivera with Speak Bride, and I'm so glad that you're here this week. We're going to be diving into some things that I have experienced with so many stylists over the years of coaching stylists, watching them say certain things that immediately transition them from being a relational approach to suddenly a transactional approach. It's things that they'll tend to repetitively do in different appointments, and they've boiled it down to a certain phrase that they love to use, or systems that they have in place in their store that they love to use, and they think that they're so important to this process, when in reality they're the very thing that is the hiccup in the process. So I call these the hidden pitfalls, because they're things that we're doing, we mean well, they're well-intentioned, but they can be the very thing that is tripping you up, that is stopping the bride from being able to feel freedom to say yes to the dress. So don't miss this podcast. Listen to it quite a few times. You'll need to hear it. And there's lots more of these hidden pitfalls, but this will get you started on some things not to say, not to do, and what to do instead.
What I want to dive into today is a little bit. There are some what we call the hidden pitfalls, and they can derail an appointment whether you realize it or not. And the difficult thing about hidden pitfalls is that they tend to be things that stylists are holding on to very tightly as a reason for their security and success. And they don't realize that it's actually one of the things that's stopping their success. And I'm going to throw out this one. And some of these, I'm sure, can be controversial because they'll step on people's toes. You know why? Because the very definition of it is people are holding on to them thinking, this is what helps me in appointments. And I want to make clear that the language of bride is very nuanced. So there are ways to do and accomplish certain things that will move the ball forward, right? It will empower the bride even more. It will give her more security. It will allow her to express herself more freely. But if it's said just a little bit differently this way, it will do the opposite. That's why we continuously come back to the fact that there's a difference between love and manipulation, between leading and controlling. And it's in the nuances of things that you see those things. And it's also there in these different things that are processes that are adopted by stylists and held onto by stylists very strongly. It reveals that some stylists don't understand how important it is to transition people from being in their heads to being in their feelings from the get-go. And we can tend to fall into the trap of thinking this is a product purchase, and here are the great techniques of helping someone do a product purchase, a product choice. And when we get into those things, we're getting the bride into that mentality. And the danger of that is it puts the bride in the mentality that does not help her actually make the decision. She can get more confused because it literally is a life moment feel thing that the bride has to have. And when we unwittingly, we're trying to help her, but when we unwittingly put her in that area of this is a product purchase and here's some great techniques for making this product purchase, it gets her in a strange place in her head, and then she can't make the decision, or she makes the decision and she doubts herself. She goes back through it and goes back through it, and she's trying to hash back through it, and she comes up with a lot of a doubt many times. So what is one of those things? One of those things is having a bride rate a dress from 1 to 10. And let's just talk about that for a second. Why does it feel good from a stylist perspective? Why would a stylist adopt this as a practice to, when the bride is in the dress, to rate the dress from 1 to 10? What's the motivation behind that? It's not necessarily a bad motivation. What's the motivation? Can you guys throw that in the chat or unmute yourself and chat with me a little bit about it? Who wants to take a stab at it? I'm going to swipe over this way and see who we have on here. We have Dahlia's Bridal. Hello. TWC Bridal. Hello. Lucy, hi. Good to see you on here. So, hello. Good to see you. Unmute. Sorry, I accidentally muted myself because I swiped too far to the left and it puts you on that thing where you're on driving mode and it won't let you do anything. Okay, so Dahlia says to help eliminate dresses, TWC says maybe they just want to rate the dress and feel it more clear in their minds to rate them. Right. Good. Both of those, I think, are the motivations that stylists do. They think this will help them put the dresses in a certain order. They'll say this one was a 10 out of 10. It also helps the stylist feel more secure that this bride likes everything about this dress. There's nothing she would change, right? But this is the problem with it, and what it ends up resulting in many times is it keeps things in a very like headspace, technical space. It also can exude, like, if a bride has one little thing that she thinks she wants to change about the dress, or if it's the first dress she tries on, and she's not quite sure what's coming in the dressing room or whatnot, it can be difficult for her to try to rate 10 out of 10. Also, there can be quite a few dresses that are 10s out of 10s. There's nothing that the bride would change because you do a good job as, you know, as a stylist in pulling. So having a rating system of 10 out of 10 puts a number on something that we want to work hard to not have her do. It's like, I think I've used this before. You may have heard this. I need you to hear it again. When I was in acting class, right? They made us go through the scripts and we had to put a number next to the emotion that we were supposed to be feeling. So, and they called it stakes. Like, so if you, this line, you're going to say that with the stakes of this line are like an 8. So, you know, what's at stake in these emotions, and how it's supposed to be a gauge of how deep you're supposed to feel or how drastically you're supposed to feel. And you're supposed to put a number next to it. And the thought is, if you can formalize your performance, then you can do repeat performances and do an excellent job and not rely on the fact that you'll actually feel something, because who can rely on you to actually feel something every time when you're doing 45 performances of a show, right? So that's the thought behind it. But absolutely, it does the opposite. 9.99999 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, it tends to sterilize the performance, and it never lets the actor reach a place where they're actually feeling something. And the feeling that that when you read the lines and you understand the mindset of this character and what they should be feeling in this moment, and you're feeling into that, and you get into that space, then it's almost like you step over the rainbow. And there are all these incredible options that come out of you that can be a little bit different each time, but so on point emotionally. If you nail the right emotion, how you respond and how you move and how your facial expressions go and how you interact with other actors is correct, even if it's a little bit different every night. In fact, it keeps it fresh to work to feel it again for the first time. That's what makes an alive performance, and it connects with the audience and they feel something and they're like, wow, what was that? My husband totally has this understanding in the show that he does. There's 2 other guys, and the 2 other guys are professional actors. They're really great. They're one trained at Yale, and the other has his master's from Temple, a very high prestigious acting school, and all the things. But those 2 guys consistently say to my husband how amazed they are at how present he always is in every show, that he's so in it. And my husband's like, it's because it's 2 different approaches. Their approach is more technical. His approach is more organic. It's more deep, and it's more risky in a way. But some people would say, but there's so much higher reward because it's the real communication deal. It's not sterile. It's not calculated. It's got wonderful surprises in it. And it's challenging and exciting and all the things. This is how I need stylists to understand. We are stepping over the rainbow with what we teach with Do You Speak Bride? And I don't want you to settle for less. If you settle for less, it will show in the numbers. It will show in the bride's confusion. It will show in the bride's lackluster reviews. It will show in the bride's, does that make sense? Like, if it's so methodical and these techniques are numbers kind of focused, rate it 1 to 10. It's It's like that acting class where we're supposed to rate our emotions. It made no sense to my brain. I fully rejected it, honestly. I hated those exercises. And I wanted the acting teacher to actually realize the absurdity of it. It's like being in a math class and telling your class to write down what emotion 4 times 4 feels like. This is math and this is emotion. And we can try to get a gauge on what we're feeling emotion wise with numbers, but it's like completely two different what? Languages. Two different languages. I need you to not speak the language of numbers and product and does that make sense? That language. I don't need you to speak the technical language of business product decisions, of detached, emotionally detached decision making does not actually help the bride make the decision as much as we might think it does. In other areas of our life, there may be some areas that is just strongly leaning on the technical side that these numbers make this decision, whatever it is. But research clearly shows buying decisions. First of all, any buying decision is actually an emotional one. It's solving a problem for you that you don't like. You don't like cutting the grass with the push mower. So, and you're just tired of that. And this purchase of the riding mower just makes you feel great and you're ready to go do it. Whatever the decision is, no matter how mundane, if it's a buying decision, the majority of those decisions are made emotionally. Multiply that times however many hundreds you want. And that's what a bridal decision is. Even the most stoic engineer, lawyer, teacher, professor decision of a bride with her dress is going to be emotional. And I don't mean sobbing out of her mind emotional. I'm talking about, though, in the emotional realm. So I want to encourage you, keep her in the conversation of feelings of these dresses. Keep her eliminating and keeping one at the top, just based on, so we love this one the most. We love this one more than this one. Yes? Okay, perfect. That's all you have to do in comparison to eliminate. And even if it's just a little bit, you remember this gesture, you remember what we're teaching her. You're eliminating, not based on, oh, this one is ugly and this one is great. It's the fact that if we like this one just a tad bit better, that's all you have to know. Good job. We're going to high five her or thumbs up her, fist bump her, whatever it is, and be like, yes, good job. Yes, this one's gorgeous too, but this one's a little better. Okay, out this one goes. Let's go. And next dress. Do you see what I'm saying? Keep one favorite in, eliminate from the one. Eliminate from the one, empower her to like one a little bit more, and then make huge celebratory decisions and get it out of her face. Do you understand? And resist the urge to ever have her rated on a scale of 1 to 10. There are people that if you were to see yourself in a picture with someone, let's say you're single, and someone sees a picture of you and shows it to you and says, oh my goodness, look at you with this person. I mean, you guys are a power couple. Scale of 1 to 10, how do you think this looks? How do you think you two look together? Is how you look together. Scale of 1 to 10. Really, any sort of gauge on how you feel together. Two very different things. There were some guys I dated. We looked great together. I'm tall. If you've seen me in person, I'm a tall person. And some of these guys that I dated that were also tall and all the things, and it was like, man, you know, this makes sense in the look of it. But mercy day, I'm so thankful that that is not the only part of how you know the right person is the right person. It is so much more about the feeling of who you are in these things. And hear me well, if you hear nothing else in this time, hear this. Do not separate the dress as a product that is separate from the bride herself, or you're making a big misstep. Connect the dress to her expression, to who she is, to who she, what difference and impact this girl is making, and how she feels about herself as a person, and connect the dress to what the dress does inside her. And then how the dress expresses what's inside her to the rest of the world. Stay in that lane. Say what you see as an audience and what you feel as an audience when you see her in this dress. Use the adjectives that describe how you feel about who she is when you see her in this dress. Connect the dress to her. Don't separate the dress as a product we are rating. And you might not think it's that drastic when you use a 1 to 10. That's what I'm talking to you about. Something you think is just a small thing that's a nuance, that's just a help to the bride, we're not realizing is actually the big chasm pitfall that we're falling in. And we're taking the bride right down with us, right? So if you love to connect with brides and you're so good at it, and you're good at selling because you connect well, change this one little thing. Take away the rating system. Switch over to connecting about what she's expressing in the dress, how she feels in the dress, to keeping one dress that she loves more than the others, even if it's a little bit. She can talk about the details of what she likes differently about the dress. And as soon as she eliminates one, then you can bring facts in of why that was a strong decision. Because from outside opinion, what I'm looking at is that then you can turn that dress into a product. Once she has said, yeah, I think I like the other one better, right? Now you can go into the technical and get it out. It's not the one she needs to connect with. Makes sense? She's now disconnected from it. Talk about the frame and the cut on her frame and why this one doesn't hit as well as the other dress that she has over here. Good decision. High five. Support her decision with the facts. And then get back into the feeling next time she's in the next dress. Free her to feel. When she eliminates, support it with facts. Free her to feel in the next dress. Does all this make sense? I hope it does. So you feel first, then you're going to process it. And that's how we make sure they feel secure in this decision. That's how you can empower her the most. Bride language is a language of nuance. Bride language is it is a language of relationship. Bride language is a language of emotional expression. Bride language is not, it does not help her navigate the things she needs to navigate in order to say yes, if we're starting with numerical things or sterile things or facts or facts about the dress, like details of kinds of lace or kinds of this, blah, blah. All those kinds of product details do not help her get in the right space internally to make the decisions that she needs to make. Be her coach, be her advocate, be her leader in staying in that lane. And no matter what her personality is, morph to her personality and keep her in that lane. Some people don't feel very visibly. They need to know that that's absolutely perfect. They need to know that you love how they communicate, that you love that they love taking things in and that they chew on things and then they can hear themselves feel and think. And that's an incredible way to make decisions. And you love that. Come down into who they are, meet them in who they are, and you will find new ways of valuing who they are and then allowing the dress to express it. Then you'll see those two things meet. But if you don't know how to morph to them, celebrate how they actually communicate their emotions. And therein lies the deal, isn't it? If we can't understand how this person communicates emotions and we just think everybody should communicate emotions in the same way, that's where we miss the mark. We're like, oh, this person's not excited enough. No, baloney. This person is excited exactly how much they need to be. You need to get on their page, champion the way they process emotions, but don't believe the lie that they're not feeling something. They're feeling something. They're trying to navigate what they feel. And they need to be free to know that how they choose to navigate that is correct. Does that make sense? That you understand it, that you value it. Let me put it that way. You value how they choose to do it, and you're going to throw some helps in there, and you're going to throw some outside opinions that they can take or leave, and that you're going to see observations and perspectives that you're going to also throw in there. You're going to free them to feel safe, figure things out about how they feel about the dress. But don't put them in their head over here first, and don't throw them into a formula that's going to help them eliminate by putting them in numbers. You're going to get them in the wrong headspace to actually make the decision they need to make confidently.
Thanks so much for being here on the podcast. I hope there was something in there that made you go, oh my goodness, I can use that as I'm helping brides. In fact, a lot of our stylists who we do training with, they rewatch the training over and over and over again, and they come away with something new every time. So these podcasts will be the same. Watch them over and over and over again so that it sticks with you. You can't get it all in one sitting, but I hope it's both educational and inspirational for you, because what we do is help brides be empowered to have a moment in their life that they will never forget. And it's telling their love stories to the whole world. It is a bigger job than a lot of people realize of what we're doing. It's way more involved relationally. So this podcast is specifically designed to help you relationally in your life. That may mean you're acclimating to things differently in your relationships, and I hope so. I would love to hear the stories of how this podcast helps you. So comment or DM us, like and share it if it helps someone else in your team, maybe even just someone else in your life. There might be stories in there where you're like, this would be helpful. Definitely share it with them, and make sure you come every week and hear the podcast. We also have a training platform. If that's something that will help you even more, come join our Speak Bride training platform, where we interact with these things every week with stylists from all over the world, and be empowered to do your job in a major way, because love needs to spread, and we get to be the ones that help it do that. So join us, and thanks again for listening to the podcast.